If you run an MSP or sell into MSPs, you already know the truth. Tech is the easy part. Getting attention and turning into real conversations is the hard part. Hey, welcome to Prospects of IT. I'm Jim Punzenberger, former MSP owner and author of $0 Advertising Strategies and the creator of ManageProspectingSystem.com, the only IT marketing agency that lets you write your own guarantee for us. Today, I'm excited that I'm joined by Joe Rogers, CEO of WorkDone.AI. Joe believes that the consulting industry is ripe for disruption, and he's building towards something he calls corporate memory. Joe, good to have you here. Say hi to the audience.
Hello, audience.
And Joe, give us a quick version of who you are and what you're building at WorkDone.AI.
Wow. Okay. Well, we got 10 minutes, right?
The quick version, so like 20
So,
seconds.
yeah. So I am the CEO and founder of WorkDone. And WorkDone was the born out of a couple decades of consulting um, around the world on digital transformation projects. And one day I realized how I could automate myself as a consultant. And that was the genesis for WorkDone. That said, what WorkDone provides is something, um, it's really AI transformation, but our core thing it all is called corporate memory. And what corporate memory is it's a service for larger organizations where we observe knowledge workers in the back office, processing complex transactions like purchase orders or insurance claims or sales orders. And we watch the work come in, we watch how they process the work, and then we capture the outcome after the fact. And we distill the best practice around processing each type of work as it comes in. So that best practice is then stored in the customer's corporate memory. So when people leave, they don't lose that knowledge and it's readily shared with everyone. Everybody knows the absolute best way to process something. And it's current, it's evergreen, it's continuously updated. And the next step is because we now know how to process it, we can generate agents to do a lot of the manual tasks.
Got it. So I heard that you're, a night owl, and that kind of,
You
I
saw my
think,
email. Yeah.
yeah. I heard, and so how does that, you say being a night owl, affects you as an executive?
It sucks because I need to be on, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., regular business hours. But my most creative like time is between 10 and 2 a.m. And it drives my wife crazy. But such is life. I figure out how to I make it work.
So any tips on making it work if your creative hours don't necessarily line up with the standard 9 to 5 business hours?
My tip is to design your own reality. Like, most people do the 9 to 5 thing and then they live around, and life, sort of it makes sense. But I've been self-employed since college and I've never really had to, well, let me say, I've had leeway in how I schedule my time. So sometimes I'll block chunks of time, no calls. I don't respond to emails. It's like just like go deep, get in the zone. There are times when I'm working with people in a different continent, so I have to make calls at 5 a.m. in order for it to work, or in a different continent, and the calls are at 7 p.m. So so when I just say design your own reality, it's like it's let's see how to say this. I have friends that work at large, well, I'll just say IBM, and IBM will have you on calls from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. if you let them. I know some people who work for IBM who work from, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and they have a personal life, and they both, they're both good at their jobs, but
Uh-huh.
one actually has a higher quality life. So that's what I mean by design your own reality.
Got it.
They
So,
know how to say no.
and how to say no. That makes sense. And so, time for a truth bomb. What is the biggest misconception you see in your world?
Oh, right. You know, hey, uh, uh, this is worth what you paid for it, but I think people are expecting the reality is AI is definitely going to cause a lot of disruption, but I don't see, world governments, definitely not in the US, getting their act together to create a new type of economy that makes sure everybody's, got basic enough money to have shelter and food and clothing. I don't see that happening in a timely way. Like our world is not focused on that, unfortunately. But the reality is AI, 120,000 layoffs in tech just last year,
Hmm.
plus. So it's I think AI is going to sort of usher in this rapid change, scenario where people will have to upskill, reskill, reinvent themselves. Companies are going to reinvent themselves. There will be for people who go after it, there will be like a new place for them in their company, but they have to go after it and sort of create it themselves because chances are good senior management is also kind of dealing with other stuff, and this isn't on their radar how AI can enable, reorganization, job transformation, and all that. And that's part of what we look at, focus on at Work Done as well.
Hmm. So, what do you think a more realistic outlook is when it comes to AI and uh, ways that it can be useful in the um, in the in the enterprise world?
It's going to be useful pretty much across the board. The question is like, how quickly will companies adopt it? I mean, it's one thing to punch a question, put an email into ChatGPT and then it makes it better. It's like, ooh, and like everybody's had that experience and it's very valuable for that. I use it for that all the time. But really, like strip the onion peel away one layer or two layers, um, knowing which like platforms are good at what, and then like aligning the different tasks you have to those different platforms and using the right tool, like integrating the AI into your own personal workflow at work, at home. I mean, my mother on Christmas, she actually had a health issue and we had to call a paramedic. They took her to the hospital and everything worked out. They released her the next day. She's fine. But the insurance company said that they weren't going to pay the claim because her blood pressure wasn't low enough. When that's exactly what happened. And the ambulance folks like have that paperwork, but for some reason the insurance people don't. And it's actually um, she sent me the letters from the insurance company, and I used my trusty LLM to be like, "Hey, like, what's the deal with this?" And it parsed it out. Oh yeah, da 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 da. Policy. I'm in California. Like, what rules apply? Like, there's state laws around this sort of thing, and there's a time
Hmm.
to respond. And it said, yeah, like it found the numbers and told me to call the paramedics, and because we tried to call the hospital, four different numbers, nobody answered, so we couldn't get the records. So it gave us advice. But so that's me integrating AI in my personal life, my personal workflow to solve a problem, and to get like the average worker from where they are now to like understanding like, okay, this can help me. There, that's going to be a bit of a climb, but you know, we're going in that direction.
And is that something you help enterprises with?
Absolutely, yeah. So, I mentioned that we're in the AI transformation business. Work done, basically, it's there's at a high level, we basically come in and do the work that a consultant would do without setting foot on site. So no, teams of people taking up seats and killing small forests. And it's basically we instrument the desktops and in the background. There's no training, no friction. We capture all this information. We identify bottlenecks, areas of opportunity, like, oh, we can, create some agents for here, here, and here, and then provide a roadmap, an actionable roadmap. And that's the first offering, the assessment. And that's a one-time thing. Or, the customer can, bundle in on-demand audits. So if you actually take these insights that we surface and act on them yourself, you can see the shift. Like, oh, we did this last week and this is the change. And it's all data-driven. And so those are, on a subscription basis. And then the next sort of upsell is to agentic automation, where we surface these things, the customer asks us to do it for them. And then it's in an agile, manner, just with sprints, delivering functionality on a cadence that we come to agree to 4 to 6 weeks. And once they start seeing like this stuff start coming out rapidly in our framework, with co-pilots, you know, trained on their best practices from a process perspective, from our observation, we can also train it on their documentation, which that's no big deal nowadays using RAG. But it's the what's great is, yeah, the co-pilots, and then we have our agent review, which is our human in the middle, so that whatever the transaction is, at the outset, a human looks at everything, and then we have a knob we can dial back how many they look at based on their comfort level. And there's interactivity between the co-pilot and the agent review. So it's a different way of working, certainly.
Definitely. And it sounds like I've heard that you dubbed this corporate memory.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's when we started, it was kind of about just automating redundant tasks, and then the light bulb went off on how we could solve this massive problem around. There's been knowledge management software for forever, but it's high friction, right? It's like the human does to do their job, and then they have to come over here and key in what they just did. That's like there's no alignment there. People aren't going to make it
mhm.
easy to work themselves out of jobs. So, but corporate memory started out just in the background, observing the work, running analytics, watching, and then capturing. We leverage process mining on the back end, and it's there's a lot going on, and we have some patented IP called expertise capture in the middle. And what's great is this corporate memory started out as a way to share best practices with humans, but it's evolved into this sort of enterprise substrate of intelligence serving both humans and agents. So everybody's working from the same ground truth, and it's transactionally aware. So a human can put in, hey, like, how many invoices did we get from vendor X last month? Boom. Whether a human did it or an agent did it, it's going to respond. Or if every company has systems of record, and then there's like email and there's Excel. That's most 90% of companies. And we're actually not competing with any of those. We're watching what the human does in the space between. So there's nothing really like that in the industry today that I'm aware of. So it captures what the human is doing over a number of transactions. We now know the best way, and then we can actually assist the human, like, oh, we know the best practices. We also know the worst practices, so we can sort of save them from themselves if need be.
Very fascinating. If somebody wanted to learn more, what would be their next steps?
Yeah, WorkDone.AI is the website, WorkDone.ai, and yeah, or hit me up on LinkedIn, Joseph Rogers, Work Done. If you type in those 3 words, you should find me. And yeah, happy to talk about what we're doing, or just if you have questions about what you should do, I'm happy to help.
Well, thank you for your time here today and sharing. And if somebody's looking for those details, check the show notes. We'll include those in the show notes here for contacting Joe. And until next time,
I have a question for you, Jim.
yes.
Tuna neutron, what's up with that?
Tuna Neutron. That's my nickname or nicknames. So when I was uh, young, I got the nickname of Jimmy Neutron, um, being that I was the guy that was fixing all the technology and um, so I was and then fast forward about 20 years, I'm in Costa Rica fishing and I catch a tuna, and so I got the nickname of Tuna, and it was only natural to merge the two together, and now Tuna Neutron.
It rolls off the tongue. I like it. Thank you.
Um,
Now I know.
Now you know, and now everybody knows. Thanks for asking, and thanks for sharing.
Thank you, Jim. It's been a pleasure.
And until next time, be sure to check out manageprospectingsystem.com if you want to turn outreach into conversations and build a pipeline you can actually count on. And until next time, stay hydrated and caffeinated. Bye for now.
Thank you.